Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Today, I want to share a very special story with you, my first flight to Rome. This isn't just a story, it's a journey where I'll introduce you to new phrases, useful vocabulary, and important travel tips. By the end, you'll feel like you traveled with me, and you'll learn everything about flying alone for the first time. I know many of you might feel nervous about traveling alone, especially on an international flight, but don't worry. I'll guide you through everything: what to pack, airport formalities, security checks, boarding the flight, and all the little things first-time travelers should know. This is going to be exciting, fun, and full of new experiences. So, let's go. My name is Anna, and this journey is very special to me. Everyone loves traveling, but my trip was extra special because it was not only my first flight, but also to my dream destination, Rome. Rome is one of the most historic cities in the world, the capital of Italy, and a place filled with ancient ruins, delicious food, and vibrant culture. It's known as the Eternal City, famous for its Colosseum, pasta, gelato, and of course, the Vatican. I had always dreamed of visiting Rome, walking through its cobblestone streets, exploring ancient ruins, and sitting in a small Italian restaurant with a plate of spaghetti and a glass of wine. And now, that dream was coming true. But before reaching Rome, I had to go through something I had never done before: taking my first flight. I started my day early in the morning, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. The first thing I did was double-check my packing. Packing is very important when traveling by flight, because airlines have strict rules. I had two types of bags: checked luggage, which is the big suitcase that goes in the airplane's cargo, and hand luggage, a small bag I could carry with me inside the plane. The airline had a weight limit: 20 kilograms for my big suitcase, and 8 kilograms for my hand luggage. I packed my clothes, shoes, toiletries, and other essentials. But then, just before leaving for the airport, I realized I forgot my adapter. I panicked for a moment, but then I calmed myself down, because I remembered something very useful: airports have electronics shops. So, if you ever forget something important, like an adapter, don't worry, you can buy it at the airport. With everything packed, I took my passport, visa, tickets, and some cash in dollars and euros. Always carry some cash when traveling, because not all places accept cards, and exchanging money at the airport is more expensive. I booked a taxi to the airport, and as I sat in the car, watching the city lights pass by, my heart was racing. This was really happening. As I entered the airport, I was greeted by a huge, bright terminal full of travelers from all over the world. There were big digital screens displaying flight details, people rushing with their luggage, families saying goodbye, and airport staff helping passengers. It felt like stepping into a different world. The first thing I had to do was check in. I went to my airline's counter, showed my passport and ticket, and they gave me my boarding pass. My checked luggage was weighed and sent to the airplane. A little tip: if your luggage is overweight, you will have to pay extra, so always check the weight before leaving home. Next came the part that made me a little nervous: the security check. This is where all passengers must pass through a scanner, and their hand luggage is checked, for safety reasons. I placed my handbag, phone, laptop, and jacket in a tray. Suddenly, the officer told me to remove my belt and shoes. I wasn't expecting that, but then I saw everyone else doing the same. So, if this happens to you, don't feel shy, it happens to everyone. I walked through the security scanner, and thankfully, there were no issues. But remember, sharp objects like scissors, liquids above 100 milliliters, and even water bottles are not allowed in hand luggage. After security, it was time for immigration. This is where officers check your passport, visa, and travel documents. They asked me a few questions: why I was traveling to Rome, where I would stay, and when I would return. I answered confidently, and they stamped my passport. With my documents cleared, I had some free time before boarding my flight. I decided to explore the airport, and it was one of the most fun parts of the journey. The airport was like a mini city. There were luxury shops, restaurants, bookstores, and even lounges where people could relax. I walked into a duty-free shop and saw perfumes, chocolates, and expensive brands at lower prices because they were tax-free. I was feeling hungry, so I went to the food court and had a slice of pizza. It felt so good to relax and enjoy my meal while watching airplanes take off through the glass window. As I sat there, it finally hit me. I was really about to fly. Soon, my boarding gate was announced. I checked my boarding pass and walked towards my gate number. An airline staff member checked my ticket, and I finally entered the airplane. I had a window seat. I was so happy because I wanted to see the clouds and experience the view from the sky. The airplane was modern, clean, and comfortable. The cabin crew greeted me with a warm smile, and I found my seat easily. The seat was cozy, and the air smelled fresh. I placed my handbag under the seat in front of me, fastened my seatbelt, and waited for the big moment: take off. The airplane started moving slowly towards the runway. My heart was beating fast. Then, I heard the pilot's voice: "Cabin, prepare for takeoff." Within seconds, the plane accelerated, the ground disappeared, and I was in the sky. I looked out of the window. The city below became smaller and smaller, until all I could see were fluffy white clouds. It felt like floating in a dream. I had butterflies in my stomach, but it was the most amazing feeling ever. As I relaxed into my seat, I thought about how a few hours ago, I was standing in an airport, and now I was flying high above the world. Traveling alone for the first time might seem scary, but trust me, it is one of the most exciting experiences of life. You learn new things, meet new people, and discover how strong and independent you are. Welcome to Rome. The moment I stepped out of the airport, a warm breeze touched my face. The air smelled different, a mix of fresh bread, coffee, and something magical. Rome had a charm, a history, a beauty that I had only seen in pictures, but now I was finally here. I had planned to stay for 4 days, and I wanted to see everything. So, let's go explore Rome with me. The weather was warm but not too hot, around 25 degrees Celsius, so I wore a light shirt and carried a small backpack. Rome has a Mediterranean climate, so it's always a good idea to carry sunscreen and a water bottle. I took a taxi from Fiumicino Airport to my hotel. The ride cost around €50, and the journey was about 40 minutes. On the way, I looked out of the window and saw beautiful Roman streets, ancient buildings, and small cafes filled with people enjoying espresso. I had booked a cozy hotel near the city center, which cost €100 per night. The best part? It had a rooftop terrace with a view of the Colosseum. I quickly checked in, dropped my bags, and stepped out, because I didn't want to waste a single moment. My first destination was the Colosseum. This iconic landmark is one of the most famous in the world, and I couldn't wait to see it up close. The entry ticket cost me 16 euros, and I also bought an audio guide to learn more about its history. The Colosseum was massive, with its ancient arches and stone walls telling stories of gladiators and emperors. I stood there, imagining what it must have been like thousands of years ago. It was breathtaking. After the Colosseum, I walked to the Roman Forum, just a short distance away. This was the heart of ancient Rome, where politicians, philosophers, and citizens once gathered. The ruins were incredible, and I spent hours exploring the temples, arches, and columns. It felt like stepping back in time. By then, I was feeling hungry, so I decided to have lunch at a small Italian restaurant nearby. I ordered a plate of carbonara, 12 euros, and a glass of red wine, 5 euros. The pasta was creamy, rich, and absolutely delicious. The restaurant had a cozy atmosphere, with checkered tablecloths and friendly waiters. I enjoyed my meal slowly, savoring every bite. After lunch, I headed to the Trevi Fountain. This stunning fountain is one of Rome's most famous landmarks. I threw a coin into the fountain, making a wish to return to Rome one day. The fountain was crowded, but the atmosphere was magical, with the sound of water and the golden statues shining in the sunlight. Next, I visited the Pantheon, one of the best preserved ancient buildings in the world. The entrance was free, and I was amazed by its massive dome and the opening at the top, letting in a beam of sunlight. It was a peaceful and awe-inspiring place. As the sun set, I decided to take a walk through Piazza Navona, a beautiful square filled with artists, street performers, and cafes. I sat at a cafe, ordered a gelato, 3 euros, and watched the world go by. The square was lively, with people laughing, chatting, and enjoying the evening. Before ending my day, I took a night walk to the Spanish Steps. The steps were lit up, and the view of the city at night was stunning. I sat on the steps, reflecting on my first day in Rome. It had been everything I dreamed of and more. The next few days were just as amazing. I visited the Vatican, saw the Sistine Chapel, and even climbed to the top of St. Peter's Basilica for a panoramic view of the city. I explored Trastevere, a charming neighborhood with narrow streets and colorful buildings, and tried authentic Roman dishes like cheese and pepper pasta and fried rice balls. On my last day, I decided to buy some souvenirs to remember this incredible trip. I went to a small shop near the Colosseum and bought a miniature Colosseum statue, 10 euros, a keychain with the Trevi Fountain, 5 euros, and a few postcards, 2 euros each. I also bought a beautiful Italian leather wallet, 30 euros, as a gift from my dad. The shopkeeper was very friendly and even gave me a small discount. It felt great to bring a piece of Rome back home with me. As I packed my bags and prepared to leave, I realized that this trip to Rome was just the beginning. There are so many more places I want to explore, and I know that I'll continue to learn, grow, and be inspired by the world. To everyone watching this story, I want to say, don't wait for the perfect time to travel. If you dream of going somewhere, take that first step. The world is full of adventures waiting for you, and the memories you make will last a lifetime. Travel not only opens your eyes to new places, but it also opens your heart to new possibilities. So, pack your bags, step out of your comfort zone, and make your dreams come true. Thank you so much for joining me on this unforgettable journey through Rome. I hope you felt like you were right there with me, experiencing it all. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, keep exploring, keep dreaming, and never stop believing that you can create your own incredible journey. Remember, the world is waiting for you.